Namaste, everyone. Good evening. So we are about to start 23rd lecture of Viveka series. So we have with us Swamiji and the coordinator of Swami Vivekananda Study Center, Professor Shripati Kulaya sir is also here. Sir, can you please unmute yourself and check the audio?
Hello, namaste.
Yes, sir.
Namaste.
It's audible. It is audible. Yes. Yeah. Swamiji, Pranam Swamiji, can you please unmute yourself? Yes.
Can you see me now?
Yes, Swamiji, very much. Yes. Swamiji, can we proceed further? Can we start?
Yes, we can start.
Shripati Kulaya sir, can we start?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
We'll continue.
Yeah. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat. Respected professors, faculties of Mangalore University, and the delegates and the participants of today's Viveka lecture series. My dear friends, Mangalore University established Swami Vivekananda Study Center on the auspicious birthday of Swami Vivekananda, say on January 12th, 2021. So soon after the inception of Swami Vivekananda Study Center. Am I audible, Swamiji? Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible to me.
Yes, so in the chat section has been mentioned. Soon after the inauguration of the study center has an objective to spread the message of Swami Vivekananda to all walks of life. So it has a objective to facilitate the students at large to gain a clarity in thoughts, purity in emotion, efficiency in action, thereby awakening the self and contributing to society. It also has an objective to undertake the publication of books, journals, periodicals, research paper, and digital contents. To organize study circle, youth circles, talks, workshops, seminars, conferences, and activities on Swami Vivekananda for all walks of life. So in this regard, the Swami Vivekananda Study Center recently it's organized a one-day seminar titled the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in association with Ramakrishna Mission, and at the same time it is organizing an online lecture series Viveka. So we are very happy that today we reached the 23rd lecture in the order. So my dear friends, before we proceeding further, as a formality, I request the convener of Swami Vivekananda Study Center, Professor Shripati Kulaya, to welcome the gathering and today's speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ranjan. I'm very proud to welcome for 23rd Viveka lecture series of Mangalore University Vivekananda Study Center by Puja Swami Krishnasakhanandaji from Rajkot, Gujarat. In fact, Mangalore University, realizing the need for the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda to the younger generation at present, started the study center in collaboration with the Sri Ramakrishna Math, Mangalore. And since then, we have been very regular in organizing the Viveka lecture series program on every month 12th to commemorate the birth of Puja Vivekananda. And we are in the 23rd in this lecture series program, missing in between two because the last 21 and 22 and 23, January 12th, we had a separate the birthday celebrations Otherwise, it would have been finished by this time, 24 or 25. Anyway, I am very glad that we are very much supported by Ramakrishna Math Mangalore. And personally, I should say the Ranjan Bellarpadi of Ramakrishna Math Mangalore has been kind enough and taking all initiations to organize this lecture series program. And I'm very proud today, Swami Krishnasakhanandaji, the editor, Ramakrishna Jyot magazine, Ramakrishna Math, Rajkot, Gujarat, is with us. I'm very proud and I feel very much happy that Swamiji is with us. I welcome you profusely, Swamiji, for this, the virtual Vivekavani series. Swamiji will be speaking on Swami Vivekananda's message for youth. And it's very interesting that the main objective of the Study Center of Mangalore University is this, to reach the Vivekananda's message to youth, and which is very much needed at present in our society. I'm very glad to introduce Puja Swamiji Krishnasakhanandaji, who is a dedicated monk of Ramakrishna order, initiated by Most Reverend Swamiji Ranganathanandaji Maharaj, the 13th President of Ramakrishna order. He received sannyasa in 2015 from Most Reverend Swamiji Atmanandaji Maharaj, the 15th President of
Atmasthanandaji Maharaj.
Atmasthanandaji Maharaj, the 15th President of the order. Swamiji worked in the department dedicated for editing complete works of Swami Vivekananda from 2015 to 2018. Later, he served in the publication department of Rajkot Ramakrishna Math. And currently, he is serving as the editor of Gujarat magazine, Ramakrishna Jyot, published by Ramakrishna Ashram Rajkot. And Swamiji is inspiring hundreds of youth through his speeches and articles in the light of Swami Vivekananda. And I feel that he is the right person to address our youth by giving the message from Swami Vivekananda. And I welcome you profusely, Swamiji, to this lecture series program. I welcome also, we have with us today special invitee CS Sonali Malya, Chairperson, the Institute of Company Secretariat of India, Mangalore chapter. I welcome you, madam. I welcome also all the participants who have been encouraging and who have been waiting on 12th, 6 o'clock every month to participate in the lecture series program. And I welcome all the participants, and a special welcome to all the staff and the people in Ramakrishna Math Mangalore. I welcome all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the warm welcome. As Swami Vivekananda believed on the younger generation, the modern generation, Swamiji says, my faith in younger generation, modern generation, out of them will come my workers. They will work the whole problem like lions. And what kind of youths they have, Swamiji expected? The muzzle of iron, nerve of steel, inside which dwells the same material as thunderbolt is made. And Swamiji's, in that note, what kind of youth Swami Vivekananda was expecting, and what is Swamiji's message for youth towards personality development and the nation building? So in this context, we are very eager to hear Pujya Swami Krishnasakhanandaji Maharaj. Swamiji, over to you on the topic Swami Vivekananda's message for youth. Over to you, Swamiji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. First of all, I am very grateful that you have invited me here to speak, and let me try to share some ideas which I find relevant of Swami Vivekananda for youth. Now I am trying to share my screen. Let's see if I am successful. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, Swamiji, we can see the screen.
Okay, Okay. So here I have collected some of Swami Vivekananda's quotations pertaining on higher consciousness and Advaitic Vedanta. Personally, I believe that there are many aspects of Swami Vivekananda. And one particular aspect that we generally discuss is that of Karma Yoga, patriotism, and Atma Shraddha. Now, this is a very powerful aspect. And we know that how merely 100, years ago, India was mired in famines after famines. We were slave for at least 1,000 years. How our entire pran shakti was dissipated, and we had forgotten our way. But nearly within 125 years, because of Swamiji's this soul stirring rising message, that we can see that today India is in surplus when it comes to grain production, as we saw in the case of Turkey recently, that we send a help to that nation who was in need. So instead of being a beggar, now we are helping other nations when they are in need. And also we see that how our graduates of our elite universities like IIT, etc., now they are in the top position of the corporate world of the multinational companies. So we have actually scored success in that particular aspect that Swami Vivekananda wanted to preach, that is Atma Shraddha. We were lacking in Atma Shraddha. At that time, we were sunk in tamas. Those who study Vedanta philosophy or Sankhya, they know that there are three qualities of mind. First quality is tamas, that is a tamasic mind is a lazy mind, is a mind mired in kama, krodh, mad, lobh, moha. All these negative qualities of our psyche, of our psychology. That is a tamasic mind. A rajasic mind is extremely active, and this mind, it always tries to find some new adventure, to find some success in a completely new field, the way foreigners were there at that time. So today we see that from tamas we have already journeyed to rajas, and from rajas now we need to a leap one step higher, that is sattva. What is a sattvic state of mind? Sattvic state of mind particularly describes an inward mind, a mind which basically is, for it activity doesn't matter. Sometimes what happens, there are two types of students. There are some general students who, when examination comes, they have to study very hard, and after studying very hard they are able to gain some good marks. But then there are brilliant students. What brilliant students do, we know in the case of Swami Vivekananda, that he used to study when exam comes. He used to study during the final days, and by just studying for a few days, his mind was so sharp, his ability to grasp complicated, complex questions and ideas was so superb, that within a span of few days of studies, he was able to gain very good marks. So there are two types of students. So similarly, a person who is rajasic, for whom karma is, of course, rajasic person is mired in karma. Is a rajasic person is a person who is most of his time engaged in karma. But for him, rajasic person, karma comes after a lot of effort. But for a sattvic person is like this brilliant student. A brilliant student studies for a few days and scores equally good marks. So similarly, a person who is sattvic, for him, a karma becomes sahaj. He doesn't have to throw all his prana shakti, all his effort. For him, that karma is sahaj. Why the karma is sahaj for a sattvic person? Because of like iceberg. You might have seen an iceberg. 1/3 of it is above the ocean, and 2/3 is below the ocean, beneath the ocean. The similarly, sattvic person's mind is 2/3 absorbed in super consciousness, and 1/3 part of mind he is engaged with the world. 1/3 part of mind is in conscious level. So we may say that Rajasic person's 2/3 of mind is in subconscious, 1/3 mind is in conscious level, but the Sattvic person's mind 2/3 is in superconscious level and 1/3 is in conscious level. But it's not easy to be so Sattvic. We have to do some sadhana, we have to learn some there are 4 ways of sadhana Swami Vivekananda has described: karma, jnana, bhakti and dhyana. So basically this entire religious thought, Hindu spiritual thought, it comprises within the science called Vedanta. And how now, of course, there are many parts of Vedantas, many aspects of Vedantas here. Because I have to explain in a short span of time, I am taking one particular aspect of Vedanta, that let me call it consciousness, understanding of consciousness. Now, Swami Viveka, we have to understand that there is a very nice incident. One day, we know that Sri Ramakrishna's devotees, as I think everyone must know about Sri Ramakrishna, he was Swami Vivekananda's guru and one avatar. So Sri Ramakrishna's devotees, they used to celebrate Durga Puja every year. Now Durga Puja is a very popular, very prominent festival in Kolkata, in Bengal in general. So one of Thakur's devotees, his name was Suresh Mitra. He used to celebrate Durga Puja with great fanfare in his home. He used to call pandits. He used to establish a very beautiful image of Mother Durga, and then he would invite Sri Ramakrishna and other devotees also. Sri Ramakrishna would come participate in worship, and there will be bhajan, kirtan, singing, dancing, etc. It was a very holy occasion every time Suresh Mitra celebrated Durga Puja in his home. Now one day what happened, that Sri Ramakrishna has throat cancer and he couldn't go to Suresh's home. So what happened, that at the particular time of Sandhi Puja, suddenly at that time Sri Ramakrishna was there in a Dakshineshwar, surrounded by his devotees, and suddenly at the time of Sandhi Puja, particularly holy worship time, he went into samadhi, and in samadhi he saw that there is a path of light connecting his room to Suresh Mitra's room. And through this path of light, Sri Ramakrishna went to his house, and there he saw that there is Mother Durga, very beautifully decorated, and Suresh Mitra was seated at the feet of Mother, and he was crying. Why? Because Sri Ramakrishna, like every other year, he couldn't come and participate in these festivities. So Sri Ramakrishna saw that, he blessed him, and then he returned from the same path of light. And then he told his devotees that you should all now go to Suresh's home because he is crying. All the devotees were amazed that how can Sri Ramakrishna see that Suresh Mitra was seated at the feet of Mother Durga and he was crying. So still they went there and they saw it was exactly the same scene as Sri Ramakrishna has described. So everyone so amazed. They of course participated in the puja. There was singing and dancing, etc. Very nice occasion. And then they returned to Sri Ramakrishna. Now we see that in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and also Sri Masha Sharda Devi, they used to remain a large part of their time into samadhi. In the case of Swami Vivekananda and Ma Sharda Devi, we do not see this actual evidence of this, because they have done a lot of work. Swami Vivekananda, as we know, he traveled whole world, and Ma Sharda was living with her family, with her crazy aunt and all this sort of people who used to harass her all day long. But we can see that Thakur's own disciple has said that their mind used to remain absorbed into higher consciousness most of the time, and with little whatever remained in the conscious level, they used to do all their work. So this, regarding this consciousness, there are some quotations of Swamiji which I have collected here. See what Swamiji says: Samadhi is the property of every human being, nay, every animal, from the lowest animal to the highest angel. Sometime or other, each one will have to come to that state, and then alone will real religion begin for him. Until then, we only struggle towards that stage. There is no difference now between us and those who have no religion, because we have no experience. See, such a radical statement Swamiji had made, that only after Samadhi real religion begins. And before we attain Samadhi, there is no real difference. Say, for example, myself and any number of people who are outside walking in the street. I claim to be a monk. I am here in this ashrama now for almost say 18, 19 years. And yet, because I have read Swami Vivekananda very carefully. I am going to temple almost every day, evening or morning arti, at least I attend regularly. And I read Thakur Mayan Swamiji's scriptures. I have spent 2 years in Belur Math in our training center studying Vedanta from some of the highly qualified acharyas of our order. In spite of all that, I am no better from any person walking in the street. Why? Because I have no samadhi. So Swami Vivekananda here clearly demarcates two stages of sadhana: pre-samadhi and post-samadhi. And this samadhi, Swamiji says something very radical again. It's the birthright of every human being, not merely human beings, but also animals. Now, I do not know how animals can attain samadhi. We can only speculate, but we have to understand that what Swamiji says, it is through experience and through divine knowledge. He is not just throwing statements. So we have to take it as a fact. Okay. Now let me go to the next slide. Okay. Swami Vivekananda says that this meditative state is the highest state of existence, that is the state of samadhi. So long as there is desire, no real happiness can come. It is only the contemplative, witness-like study of objects that brings to us real enjoyment and happiness. The animal, see, this is one of the most important, most powerful statement that I have found within Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda literature. Listen to carefully. The animal has its happiness in the senses, the man in his intellect, and the God in spiritual contemplation. It is only to the soul that has attained to this contemplative state that the world really becomes beautiful. See, such a beautiful statement Swamiji has made. There are three levels of existences. On one hand, he just said that even animals can attain samadhi. On the another hand, we might find some contradictions in Swami Vivekananda, because Swamiji speaks from such a higher level that to explain every word of him logically, to collate every other word of him with all others of his words, it requires long years of study, contemplation, and understanding. Let us all just take what Swamiji says, its face value. Here he says, on one hand, he said that even animals are capable of attaining samadhi, but on this quotation, he clearly says there are three levels of existences. Animals' entire enjoyment is in senses. A human's enjoyment is in intellect, and a God's enjoyment in his spiritual contemplation. So let us be God. See, when we read Sri Ramakrishna's life, Swami Vivekananda's life, we see this again and again. So many temptations come before them. In spite of that, had it been any other normal person before whom this sort of temptations comes, he would immediately fall for it. Any number of years of sadhana he might have done, but a temptation, a temptation of flesh, temptation of senses is very powerful, very dangerous, very slippery. That is why we see that what demarcates us from the life of Thakurma and Swamiji. Before them, we see again and again this temptation come. We know there is a very nice incident in the life of Swamiji. One day he was there in the palace of one king in Rajasthan, and there he saw that he was listening to a song of one woman who was a dancer. And when the moment she started singing, Swamiji thought that I am a monk. Why should I listen to this woman singing and dancing? Let me go back to my room, because he was a monk. But the moment he went back to his room, this woman started singing a very beautiful song of Mirabai, by the meaning that in spite of her being a dancer, she is also the same person within whom the light of Atman shines. You know that very beautiful incident with Shankaracharya. He was coming out of this ghat after bath, and one Chandas touched him, and suddenly Shankaracharya was very angry that how dare you touch him. The Chanda taught him that there is the same Atman within me as is inside you. And Shankaracharya suddenly realized that in spite of his panditai and scholarship, it is this Chandal who has truly attained Atma Jnana. No doubt Shankaracharya also had Atma Jnana, but see, these are incidents which are there for our for our understanding. Had there are no such incidents, we will never learn anything. We can just go on learning theories, studying theories, but when we also mention this incident, it makes theory interesting. It makes all this philosophical thinking come alive. So also in the case of this dancer, the moment Swami Vivekananda listened to this song, he came out of his chambers, again sat there along with everyone else, seeing the light of Atman inside this dancer rather than a woman made of flesh. So this is the difference between any normal human and this Avtara. Temptation may come before them, but they never fall for them. That is why what Swamiji says here again, let me repeat. The animal has his happiness in senses, the man in his intellect, and the God in spiritual contemplation. It is only to the soul that has attained to this contemplative state that the world really becomes beautiful. Okay, now let us go to next slide. Swami Vivekananda says, man found out ages ago that the soul is not bound or limited by the senses. No, not even by consciousness. See, such a powerful statement. Today in the West, we see that they are studying consciousness. There are so many, theories and studies on consciousness, so many classes going on in elite universities, etc., that we may see in Harvard, Oxford, perhaps, I am guessing. So, but here Swamiji says that even consciousness is not the last stage in human existence. There is something which is beyond consciousness. We have to understand that this consciousness is only the name of one link in the infinite chain. See, powerful poetic statements. Even this consciousness is only the name of one link in the infinite chain. Being is not identical with consciousness, but consciousness is only one part of being. Beyond consciousness is where the bold search lies. See, there are three stages of consciousness. We may call it subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. And that what Swamiji said before, the true spiritual life begins only after samadhi. So here again Swamiji says that bold search lies beyond consciousness. That is the true adventure. When we say that, when I used to study India's history, sometimes I used to become very depressed. See, in the West, particularly, we see that after Renaissance, there were explorer after explorers who Captain Cook or Magellan or just any number of adventurers who sailed through this whole world, and then they explore all these hidden continents. They discovered Africa, they discovered North and South America. They also found the passage encircling the globe to Asia. There was passage to Asia through Africa, but then they found a passage through Pacific, encircling the globe. So such adventure in their life. Why India didn't produce such bold explorers? Why India didn't produce such bold adventurers? Is that because we were such coward? We were such, frightened of crossing this Kala Pani? It used to be called. Any person who would cross this ocean, he would be made outcast. And that same thing actually happened in the case of Swami Vivekananda. When he returned from the west with Nivedita, one day he went to visit Dakshineshwar temple. Now, of course, Nivedita was a white person, and white people, these Goras, were already ruling India, so they cannot say anything to Nivedita. And Nivedita boldly went inside Kali temple to make pranam to Mother Kali and to have darshana of Sri Ramakrishna's room where he used to live. But Swami Vivekananda, being an Indian, how dared he cross the oceans? So these, trustees of this temple, they banned Swamiji from entering the gate of this temple. So we can imagine that scene, that Swamiji and Nivedita had come in the boat. Nivedita is going inside the Dakshineshwar, and Swamiji is seated on the boat and thinking about all the wonderful days he had spent in this same temple from which he was barred from entering, from which he was banned. He couldn't enter Dakshineshwar temple again because he had crossed Kalapani. So see, this sort of superstition was so strong inside us. Was that the reason that we lost this race of nations? Swamiji writes in letter to Alasinga that see how the nations are on march and see where Indians are living, how far behind Indians have fallen. It is necessary for the young men like you to travel through the world and see, learn from Japan, learn from other European countries, learn from America. Swamiji used to say that America is full of electricity. Swamiji's brother, he came with Swamiji to London when Swamiji was on a visit to London, and he wanted to study to be a lawyer because that was the highest ambition of all these Indian boys, that we want to be a clerk or a lawyer. Being a lawyer is the height of their ambition. At that time, Swamiji said repeatedly, go to America and be an engineer, and he used to say that America is full of electricity. Now see the difference. What does a lawyer do? Lawyer simply represents people who had committed all sorts of fraud and crime, and he is trying to defend themselves in the court. On the other hand, an engineer, especially this electrical engineering, that was in newly developed branch of science at that time, they can electrify, they can bring so many amenities to the people that it would help improve people's life greatly. So Swamiji, at that time itself, Swamiji used to say it's better to be an engineer than be a lawyer. So personally, I used to think what I was saying, that when I was studying the history of our India, I used to feel depressed that why these adventurers and these explorers, they born in Europe only. Why couldn't India produce adventurers like them? Why couldn't India produce explorers like them? And then I started reading Swamiji, and I realized that our exploration, our adventure is within this world which is within us. Our exploration and adventures are within this consciousness. Now, of course, Swamiji had at one point said that, that we have produced so many saints and prophets, but what is the price that India has paid in order to produce these saints? That thousands and millions of people have been sinking day after day in dire poverty. So, of course, these physical adventures, physical exploration, etc., is absolutely necessary for a civilization to develop, for a society to develop, for a normal person's consciousness to gather experiences and expand itself. But this is true for the 1% of, Arnold Toynbee in study of history says a creative minority, 1% or 5%, whichever percent you may take. There are a very small percentage of people who are creative minority in every society. And this creative minority, through their orientation, through their likes and dislikes, through their own skills and aptitude, they decide the direction of that particular society to which they belong. So the creative minority in India, we choose to dive inside our hearts, we choose to develop, explore our consciousness. And of course, the creative minority of the West, they explore the philosophy, the natural sciences and arts, and it's a technology, engineering, etc. Swami Vivekananda says, we doesn't say that either one branch is greater than another branch. He says that fusion of these two societies, of external world, exploration in external world, and exploration in inner world, when we fuse together these two elements, two aspects of civilization, then the greatest civilization that we have ever seen will be produced. So that is why Swamiji says, particularly pointing to Vedanta, that beyond consciousness is where the bold search lies. Okay, how much time do I have? It is 6:33.
6:45 to 50, Swamiji.
Okay.
Can go up to 6:50, 6:55.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if anyone has questions, right?
Yes, we can go with that. Later on, the special invitee will speak, then we can go for the questions.
Okay, okay. So now Swamiji says, the human mind seems to struggle to get a peep behind the scenes, the dawn, the evening, the hurricane, the stupendous and gigantic forces of nature, its beauties. These have exercised the human mind, and it aspires to go beyond, to understand something about them. In the struggle, they endow these phenomena with personal attributes, giving them souls and bodies, sometimes beautiful, sometimes transcendent. Every attempt ends by this phenomena becoming abstractions, whether personalized or not. See, in previous ages, before there was settled civilization, before there was settled farming and communities around farming, we were hunter-gatherers, traveling with herd, hunting for anything that we can get to find food, etc. At that time, nature used to be, even afterwards, even now, sometimes we see that how terrific, how dangerous this nature is. Suddenly there is earthquake like in Turkey or like in Gujarat itself, in my own state in 2001. It kills so many people in one moment. And there are famines, and there are tsunamis, and there are wildfires, forest fires, and then there are pandemics. We saw how pandemics swept through the earth, killing so many millions, shutting down industries, schools and colleges, disrupting our lives completely. At that time, when this sort of powerful natural force arises, we try to find some rationale for these forces. We sometimes call this, for like there is a wildfire, we say it's Agni Dev, is a tsunami, or say that flooding or rain, we may say Varun. We try to give these forces some name, and we try to understand these forces. But here Swamiji says that most of the time what happens, that when we try to contemplate the true nature of these natural forces, true constitution of these forces, we go beyond these natural forces and we turn inwards, and we find that the true manifestation of any force that is within this world is within, inside this Atman or Brahman or Atman. It is the true source of power, force and beauty, that everything that is there in this world. It is why Swamiji says the struggle, they endow this phenomena with personal attributes, giving them souls and bodies, sometimes beautiful, sometimes transcendent. Every attempt ends by this phenomena becoming abstractions, whether personalized or not. Abstractions means we turn inwards, that understanding, that explanation turns inwards. We try to understand everything through the lens of our consciousness, rather than seeing them mere outside forces. There is very nice comparison by Swamiji. Swamiji says that there are two types of minds, historically speaking. One was Greek mind, another was Hindu mind. Now Greek people were living, they used to do a lot of struggle with nature. It was not easy for them to grow food or live in peace and security. That is why their minds turn extrovert. inward. They try to find solution of these external problems. There is an attack by enemies, there is a flood perhaps, there is not enough food to be grown, there are not enough livestock to be fed to their children. All these external problems were so big for them that they were forced to develop this natural science. On the other hand, this was this Hindu mind, protected on two sides, one from one side by Himalaya, on the others by Hindu Kush, and there was such a fertile Sindhu Valley and there was Ganga Valley. And within these valleys, river valleys, there was such a fertile land that they can grow enough for everyone. So living within this safety, security, and beautiful world, their minds naturally turn inwards. And from turning this mind inward, they started discovering one religious secret after another. And out of this exploration of inner world, ultimately Vedas and Upanishads were written. And we know that how Buddhism and Jainism and all other religions ultimately were the byproducts of the same Vedas and Upanishads. Here is a very beautiful quotation of Swamiji, and it is also a sort of a puzzling quote. In Nirvana, you are when you are not. Buddha said, you are best, you are real when you are not, when the little self is gone. See, so difficult to understand and such beautifully phrased. In Nirvana, you are when you are not. Buddha said, you are best, you are real when you are not, when the little self is gone. What does this mean basically? That there are two selves. There is my smaller self, which is my ego, which is my arrogance. In the language of Vedanta, it is man, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. These four constitute what I call myself. I remember what I have done through my previous life. I remember what I'm going to do, what my plans are for tomorrow. I know what I want to do today. So this memory, man, that is chitta, buddhi, that is my ability to learn and to focus, man, that is something that decides, and man, buddhi, ahankar. Ahankar is my sense of self. Ahankar is not merely arrogance, it's my sense of self, that yes, I am this person. But this is a smaller self. Beyond this smaller self rise a higher self, my true nature, which is Atman and Brahman. Atman or Brahman, we may call it any of these two words. This is my true nature. Atman never dies, it was never born, it never changes, it always remains aloof from all this multifaceted panorama of world. All this Maya, it doesn't touch this Atman. Atman is like this lotus leaf. It lives upon the water, but the water does not touch this leaf. So this is the beauty of Atman. So when I meditate, I should, when you are trying to meditate, what are these Jnana Marga meditation? What is this Advaitic Vedantic meditation? We have to imagine, we have to think, we have to consider that I am this Atman, and every day, we are doing one thing or another, and our interactions, social interactions, our work, etc., it brings some sort of anger, some sort of stress, some sort of anxiety, and even that ambition. All of these emotions are there connected with my day-to-day work. So when I meditate, I need to think that all these anxieties and sometimes I am very happy, sometimes I feel very arrogant also, that some people has come and he has praised me. Sometimes I am very anxious. Say for example, tomorrow is my exam and I do not know whether my preparation is enough for me to gain better marks or not. Sometimes I am stressful that big event is coming and I do not know whether I will be able to perform well or not. In the case of cricketers, we can imagine that what sort of stress and anxiety they must be going before this World Cup series, etc. So this stress, anxiety, even arrogance, and even any number of emotions which are connected with our day-to-day life, with our day-to-day existence, when I meditate, I have to think, I have to imagine that my true nature is like, like the sun who looks upon the earth, and so many things are happening upon earth, but the things upon earth does not touch sun. Suppose there is a war on earth, suppose there are festivities upon earth, suppose there is even nuclear war and earth explodes in thousands of pieces, nothing ever touches the sun. The sun remains as it is, calm, serene, and shedding its light upon all the 9 planets equally. So I have to imagine that I am this Atman. There are no changes, there is no arrogance, there is no stress, there is no anxiety within me. My true nature is Sat Chit Ananda, and all this stress, anxiety, all this continuous thought fever, if I may try to give it a word, thought fever, that continuation of one thought and another chasing each other like madmen. So this continuation of thought train, it is not true, it is not my true nature, and it is just a part of Maya. And if I try to be steadfast in my true nature, this Maya will slowly and gradually lose its hold upon me. As long as we are living in this world, the stress and anxiety and this happiness and misery and the laughter and crying, etc., will be associated with our life. But at least I will be free from its after effects. I will be free from reactions. Some person who is happy, sometimes he is successful, he has actually find very good marks in examination, or he has been successful, he's been promoted in his company, so he becomes arrogant. And a person who fails or he is demoted, a person who does not receive promotion, he becomes depressed. So this promotion, demotion, success, failure, happiness, misery, that will remain there. They will not go away. But the reaction it produces in my mind, this reaction will go away. I will always remain serene, whether in success or in failure, whether in happiness or in misery. This same state of mind, this contemplative state of mind is to be established. This is called to be established in Atman. That is why here it is said that in Nirvana you are when you are not. That means in Nirvana I am in my through my higher nature, when I am not in my lower nature. You are best, you are real when you are not. Who is not is my smaller nature, this smaller army, the person who becomes agitated by every event that takes place in this life. This is a smaller army, and a smaller self and a higher self. Smaller self is connected to the world, it goes on reacting, participating with every event of the world, and this higher self, it remains detached, aloof from these worldly activities. So I am in Nirvana when I am part of my higher nature. I am in Nirvana when I am not part of my smaller nature. Okay, and the last slide. The more we grow in love and virtue and holiness, the more we see love and virtue and holiness outside. All condemnation of others really condemns ourselves. We cannot see outside what we are not inside. Such a very powerful, very apt statement that Swamiji has made. One day Swamiji went to Belgaum, and his disciple, this Haripada Mitra, you may know about him. Haripada says to Swamiji that, see, my boss, he was working in a forest department, and his boss was a Britisher. So this British officer, he remains very angry with me, and because he is such a powerful person, Britishers were the rulers of India, he can do anything with the career of this Haripada Mitra. So Haripada says, what should I do? Because of his anger, I always remain in fear, I always remain in anxiety, and I have to take a lot of medication because my health is suffering now. My health is becoming my body is disintegrating. So Swamiji says, see, he actually sees inside your heart. Every human being has that capacity to understand what is going on in another human being's heart. This empathy, this ability to understand another person's emotion is innate in all of us. Now there is anger, there is hatred, towards that British officer in your heart, so this British officer can actually sense it and he reacts in the same manner with you. Try to remove all this hatred towards him from your heart. Try to be friendly towards him and see how this British officer will react. And it truly happened that way when Haripado tried to be friendly towards him, not through words. Sometimes we are bitter enemies with some person. We dislike some person very much, but because of some social convention or other things, we will not say that yes, I hate you, I am angry with you, but we try to keep this anger and hatred inside our heart. But this another person can actually sense it and he will react in the same manner towards us. But as it happened in the case of Haripada Mitra, when he actually tried to be friendly to this British officer in his heart, actually this Britisher, he sensed this transformation and he reacted in the same manner, reducing his enmity towards Haripada. So this is the why Swamiji says that more we grow in love and virtue and holiness, the more we see love and virtue and holiness outside. I hate someone because there is hatred inside me. If there is love inside me, I will see love, I will find love everywhere outside. All condemnation of others really condemns ourselves. Why? Because the same Atman is living within me as in everyone else, everything else. We cannot see outside what we are not inside, as it was in the case of Haripada. Okay. So the end of my presentation, and now you can take over.
Thank you, Swamiji, for such a meaningful presentation on Swamiji's message for youths. So in that note, we'll come back to you again with a question and answer. So dear delegates, if you have participants, if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat section, or maybe the personal message also. Or the other option is that where you can also raise your hand. We will make you co-host and we will unmute you so that you can ask a question later on. So among with us, Mrs. Sonali Malia, Madam, camera is little tilted. Can you please turn the cam? Reverse it little bit.
Like this?
Yes, now it's coming well. Yeah.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah. Yes. So before we setting the camera, just let me introduce our special invitee. So as Swami Vivekananda has a tremendous faith among the youths, has a faith on the women of the country, where Swamiji has said that there is no hope for that family or a country where there is no estimation of women, where they live in sadness. For this reason, they have to be raised first. And the further Swamiji said, there is no chance for the welfare of the women unless the condition of women is improved. It is not possible for the bird to fly on only one wing. So in this note, recently, March 8th, the Women Force of the country celebrated International Women's Day. So among with us, Madam, Mrs. C.S. Sonali Malia, she's the chairperson and the first women chairperson of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, ICSI, Mangalore chapter. Madam, we are glad to have you here. And as a special invitee, Madam, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that brief introduction of mine. I would like, at the outset, I would like to place my heartfelt gratitude for having me over as a special invitee and addressing the youth. I believe all are students here. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Students and the professors of the university.
Okay. A very good evening to one and all. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of zeal to be here on a Sunday. And I see there are so many participants. I thoroughly believe that they are following this particular program of yours. And I heard Swamiji speak, and I was truly inspired by all the words that he has told. I wish we had these kind of, as in there were, but at that particular time, we were not so technologically well equipped, is what I believe. So addressing the students, I would like to start with a small quote. I would like to quote, it's not the will, it's not the skill, it is the will that is more important for each one of us. If you feel that you can do it, and more importantly, you want to do it, you will find a way somehow or the other. The second important thing I would like to place on record with students is ask one question to them. What, according to them, is patriotism? Is it just about singing national anthem or hoisting a national flag on a national day? I personally would like to share a few important things that sum up totally what patriotism would be, which is in connection with their career and academics. To me, patriotism is about working ethically and wholeheartedly in our chosen sphere to enhance public good, be it any sector for that matter. And what do I mean by that? It means working efficiently, swiftly, effectively, honestly, and in a more cooperative manner with interfaces of the state and central governments to make our public governance. Me being in the field of corporate governance, this is very, very important, so that we have a strong, robust, and enduring system in our country. It is about conducting ourselves in a manner that enhances the confidence of our next generation in our public institutions. It is about enhancing the prestige of India abroad. Let me just tell you something about recognition and performance. So we all know with great power comes responsibility. Also, with great performance comes recognition. Recognition leads to respect. Respect leads to power. And with power comes responsibility. So my friends, there is only one way to make a nation powerful, and it is through performance. And performance of whom? It is you, the youth, who matter the most for us at the moment. We have to be working in a manner, and right now you might be facing your examinations. When it comes to examinations, it is more important that we have a schedule, we have a routine that needs to be followed. Once you make it a practice, it becomes inhabited in your system, and that is more important. Excuses you will find many, but if you are able to make that one step towards your goal, say you work out for 1 hour, you meditate for 1 hour, you study, you practice your mathematical sums, accountancy, anything for that matter. If you're following it as a routine, if there is discipline in your life, definitely the goal becomes more clearer for you. Also, I would like to tell you about criticism. We will face criticisms at every path of our lives, from your family, from your friends, from your faculty, anyone. So remember one thing, there is 2 types of criticism. One is constructive and one is negative. If you feel that someone is criticizing you, take it as a chance to improve yourself. Any matter, it is never about ego. Swamiji has always spoken about ego in his Delhi speech. Very importantly, we need to let our ego aside and improve ourselves. If you're getting a chance anytime to improve yourself, and it is always through criticism. Also, please remember, if someone is criticizing you, if you feel that really it is lacking in you, we need to work upon it. And I would like to share a small passage here. A happy mind achieves bigger things than otherwise. Therefore, have fun, be happy, make people around you happy. The other day, a colleague of mine passed a short piece of success, a note, which I would like to share here. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and affection of children, to be honest of appreciation and critics, and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty and to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a good child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breath easier because of you. This is to have succeeded I'm sure that every one of you would be successful. Students, 3 important things I would like you to remember. Have a proper plan of schedule. Make sure your routine is simple. You do not burden it with a lot of things. Make sure that you are aware and you have understood what your purpose in life is. Second important thing, criticisms will come every time you do good or bad. Criticisms will be there. You need to understand which is noise. Okay, which is noise. What do I mean by noise? Which needs to be ignored, or what is really going to help you. If you think that someone has criticized you and that is really lacking in you, please work on it. And third important thing is have fun, because the time lost is never going to come back. Work and enjoy every day. And this is a small note I wanted to share with y'all. Thank you so much, sir, for having me over. I hope this short and sweet message is going to suffice for all the students.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much that you have shared your experience, how the youths can be get motivated as you yourself achieved and covered all the competitive exams, and now you are a chairperson of one of the reputed institution of the country's Mangalore chapter. So congratulations. And as Swami Vivekananda has a faith on such women force where they are managing the family and the profession. So, and you are contributing a lot to the society through your work in Mangalore, which I'm witnessing here. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being present over here and addressing and inspiring the students and the friends who are present here. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So let us move towards the next lot of the same series, that the question and answer. So before that, I acknowledge the presence of Professor Paul G. Aquinas from Mangalore University, the Professor Dr. Mohan Shinge is the chairman of the Mangalore University Department of Social Work. Dr. Chandru Hegde is a chairman of Department of Mathematics. Dr. Jay Bharati and Dr. Uday Kumar K, Dr. Pramila Shetty, Dr. Manjaya DH, and various other professors and the faculty friends who are present over here, and our regular participants as such, Gopinath sir and KP Adiga sir. So we're all present over here. So glad to see you all here, sir. Sir, if you have any questions, please raise. We will make you raise your hand. We will unmute you. Yes, I got a question in personally. Swamiji, am I audible to you? Can I proceed further?
Yes, you are audible to me.
Swamiji, camera is off. Yes, Swamiji. Yes, Swamiji, I got a question from one of our participants. Personally, I got a message that Mr. Gagan is asking, is a young boy, asking, Swamiji, I always plan well. I know the quotation, half plan is well planned is half done. But even in spite of planning well and committed to do the work, but I'm not able to complete the task because of the postponing, which popularly called as procrastination. So Swamiji, how to overcome this postponing mindset and how I can complete the work in time? So that's one of the challenge for not only for Gagan, for all of us who are working in the various segment. We keep on postponing that work. Swamiji, can you please share your thoughts on this?
The only secret to completing a task is to complete it, right? Without making any excuses. And if at all we need any boosting in this, then we can read the stories of this great, great people like Einstein, or say just anyone, Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, anyone you like, some great person who has accomplished so much in his life in any field. May it be science, may it be literature, may it be patriotism, may it be philosophy, may it be religion, may it be, this person be a soldier. We know there are so many great stories of the soldiers who fought in Kargil war on the height of this Tiger Hill. So if at all we need any boosting, that we need to read their stories. But Other than that, only way to complete a task is to complete it without making any excuse.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Swamiji. That we should not get excuse and we have to commit for the work. The work should come in front of us so that that work will inspire us to complete the work. So thank you, Swamiji. So Swamiji, I heard that you're working on the digital platform also, where Vivekananda Net or any such kind of ideas, you're working a lot to spread the message of Swami Vivekananda through digital platforms in the modern days. So can you please share that your work on that segment so that we can also get inspired to spread the message of Swami Vivekananda through digital platforms?
Initially, I started collecting various quotations of Swamiji. As you saw this here, I presented them and tried to present them in some visually attractive manner. Otherwise, we know that philosophy itself is so dry, and we need to focus so much in order to, try to find what Swamiji is trying to say, to go into the deep, to go into the depth. So I try to make it more attractive, visually more attractive. That was my first step. Afterwards, I became busy with my Gujarati because I am part of this Gujarati publication department. I have converted all these Gujarati books of Thakurma and Swamiji into these ebooks and uploaded them on Kindle and Google Playbook platform. So that particular work on Swami Vivekananda that I have done so far had remained there only. So far, I have collected almost 1000 quotations of Swamiji, classified them in something around 100 topics, and I have uploaded them on the website called vivekananda.live. You can go there and you can see it. But this is just the first step to make it more visually attractive. The second step I wanted to take, but due to the lack of time and all these sorts of thing requires team. So if someone can actually gather a team, then you can take any of this quotation of Swami Vivekananda that we discussed, and as I said, there are thousands of quotations, and make a very nice, beautiful, appealing video of some 5 or 10 minutes. It will immediately go viral, and it will make all these common people who are not that into philosophy or religion or Vedanta, even for them, the deeper meaning of Swamiji's ideas and thoughts, it will make it easier for them to understand. So that is the next step. I actually made several videos, but as I said, that due to the lack of time and team, all of this requires team, I couldn't take it further. So for now, I have almost 1000 quotations classified in almost 100 categories, but beyond that, we need to go to video. Your sound is not audible.
Sorry, Swamiji. I got one more interesting question here how to declutter the mind and focus on what's really important. How to remove an unnecessary things in mind and focus on what's really is important is a question. How to
from the very childhood, we learn mathematics, language, social studies, etc. Suppose if we teach from children from the first standard, from the kindergarten itself, this techniques of yoga and meditation, and if we can teach them that how to focus their mind, forgetting unessential things and focusing upon only essentials, then by the time they will graduate, there will so much resilience in their mind. Nowadays there are so many mental diseases. These mental diseases are taboo in our society. If I say that I am suffering from anxiety, stress, and attention deficiency disorder, ADD it is called, or obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. So if I am suffering from any of these psychological malaise, and if I go to consult a psychiatrist or someone, there will be immediately people will start talking that he has gone mad. So see, in our society also, there is not much greater recognition. This psychological problems affect our entire life, our social life, our economic life, our job, everything it affects. So that is why Swamiji himself had said that suppose it was in my hand to gain my own education, relearn everything, then I would have focused upon learning concentration, not on gathering some facts and figures, but learning concentration. And afterwards, with a mind which has become strong with this concentration, I will, any subject I want to learn, I will concentrate upon it and I will learn it immediately. May it be mathematics, may it be science, may it be language, history, anything, any geography, geometry, anything, cosmology, astronomy, string theory, whatever I want to learn, artificial intelligence, whatever I want to learn, I will first learn concentration, and with this concentration, I will focus on any subject I want to learn, and it will immediately, I will become master of that subject. So this is the secret. Unfortunately, it used to happen in our previous ages that there was Gurukul, students would go there and they will serve their gurus, they will participate in artis and some prayers and some rituals, etc., along with their studies. So those things would make their character, it would strengthen their character instead of only just memorizing things. So this Gurukul system needs to be brought back. After we become 25, 30, 40-year old, it becomes really difficult to focus your mind and learn concentration and meditation. Of course, we all need to learn, and in order to learn that, I will recommend very nice book, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. This is English version. I do not know what your local language is. You can recommend it. Reading Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna will help you very much in understanding the secrets of consciousness and meditation and concentration. But because there are so many professors here, I would urge you to somehow resurrect this old Gurukul system by which students actually start learning yoga, meditation, Vedanta, etc., spirituality right from their childhood, along with everything else that you want to teach them, so that examination will not become such a great monster for them. The stress and anxiety and everything, they can manage it easily.
Yes, Swamiji, thank you. Thank you so much for the detailed reply on that. Swamiji, can you please suggest some of the very important books or videos to start with study on Swami Vivekananda?
Swamiji's letters and lecture from Colombo to Almora. I think you can start with this too.
Okay.
Rangnathanenji used to suggest them.
Okay. So any other videos, contents to follow on a frequent basis, Swamiji, or website?
I think Vivekani's YouTube channel is nice, I think, when the way they create content. And they're very nice. And of course, Sarvapriyanandji Maharaj, of course. How come I forget them? Sarvapriyanandji Maharaj, if you listen to his lectures, wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Best resource.
Yes, thank you, Swamiji. Dear participants, this entire lecture of today's Viveka lecture number 23 is available on our YouTube channel, Ramakrishna Math Mangalore, and the Study Center's YouTube channel on a weekly basis. We are uploading the previous lectures with the edited one, where you can hear the exclusive lecture of all the speakers in the series. So you can go back to our playlist and you can hear that. So just a second. Yeah. So here we are coming to the last segment of today's program. So the vote of thanks. Now I request Mrs. Ramya Shetty, assistant professor from Sri Dharmasthala Manjunatheshwara College for Postgraduation Center for Management Studies. So, Madam, I request you to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Study Center. Over to you, Madam.
Very good evening to one and all. I'm
Madam, it's little audio issue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you, madam. Please.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I deem it my honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. Swami Krishnasakhanandaji of Ramakrishna Math, Gujarat has enlightened each one of us this evening with his words of wisdom and intellect on Vedanta. Thank you, Swamiji, for taking us on a journey of values of life through Vedanta. Thank you, Swamiji. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to CS Sonali Malya, the chairperson, ICSI Mangalore chapter, for being the special invitee on this day and sharing our valuable insights, highly beneficial to students. Thank you, Sonali Malya. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Shripati Kaluraya, the convener of Swami Vivekananda Study Center, Mangalore University. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt gratitude also goes out to Swami Jitakamanandaji of Ramakrishna Mutt, Mangalore, for giving us such a wonderful opportunity, which is indeed a platform for all of us to groom ourselves. Thank you, Swamiji. My special thanks also goes out to Mr. Ranjan Bellarpadi, the coordinator of Viveka series of lectures on Swami Vivekananda, who ensures smooth flow of this event every month when it is conducted on 12th of every month. So finally, I would like to thank all the participants for your active participation. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Madam. On this occasion, I also thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, Professor Dr. Edapaditaya, the Registrar of Mangalore University, and all the professors who are present over here for giving this opportunity to conduct this meaningful program. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Pujya Swamiji, for accepting our invitation and addressing and sharing your thoughts. We'll be in touch, and soon we want to hear you on the offline also in the near future. So we pray the Swamiji and Thakur so we get that opportunity so that we can come to Mangalore to bless all of us and to address the youngsters of the city. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you so much. Yeah. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you so much. Ramakrishna. Yeah. So, yes. So, my dear friends, there's a thank you, Swamiji. Yeah. Yeah. So, my dear friends, as a bonus, if you can hear a little bit more, and those who are in the Kannada, they can hear this thought. ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು ಸುಂದರವಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಕಂಡ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಆ ಪುಸ್ತಕದ ಹೆಸರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆರ್ ಬಾಲಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯಂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದ ಯೂತ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಮೈಸೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾಪಕರು ಅಂತೆಯೇ ಇದೀಗ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ನಿನ ಓರ್ವ ಗೌರವಯುತ ಸದಸ್ಯರು ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಮುಂಚೆ ಪ್ರಜಾವಾಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಬರೆದಿದ್ರು. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗೆ ತಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ನಾನು ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಓದಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸಮಯ ಇದ್ರೆ ತಾವು ಕೇಳಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಬೋನಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಯುವ ಜನತೆಗೆ ಕಂಚಿನ ಕಂಠದ ಕರೆ. ಯೌವನವು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರ ಬದುಕಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಅಪರಿಮಿತ ಚೈತನ್ಯ ತುಂಬಿರುವ, ಸೃಜನಶೀಲತೆ ಉತ್ಕೃಷ್ಟತೆಯ ಸ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಹಾಗೂ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಮಣಿಯದ ಅದಮ್ಯ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯ ಗರಿಷ್ಠ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ಅವಧಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಲಿನ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವನದ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದವರ ನೂರಾರು ಜನರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡುತ್ತಾ ಓದುತ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಮಾನವ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತವಾದಂತಹ ಅವಧಿ. ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಒಟ್ಟು ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 78% ಜನ 40 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕೆಳಗಿನವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಕೋಟ್ಯಾಂತರ ಯುವಕರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಎಷ್ಟೆಂಬುದನ್ನು ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಂಡರೆ ಸಾಕು. ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಮುಂದಿರುವ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸವಾಲನ್ನು ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಿಮ್ಮೆಟ್ಟಿಸಬಹುದು ಎಂಬ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ಮೂಡಿಬಿಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಯೌವನ ನಮಗಿಷ್ಟವಾದ ಆದರ್ಶ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಅನುಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಬದುಕನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಿಸುವ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಎದುರಿಗಿನ ಸವಾಲು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕ್ಲಿಷ್ಟಕರದ್ದಾಗಿರಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಎದುರಿಸುವ ಹಾತೊರಿಸುವ ವಯಸ್ಸು ಇದು. ನಾವು ನಂಬಿದ ಆದರ್ಶಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಧರಿಸುವ ಸುಸಮಯ ಇದು. ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸಬಹುದು ಎಂದು ಮುನ್ನುಗ್ಗುವ ಕಾಲ ಇದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಲ ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶ, ಪರಿಸರ, ವಿದ್ಯಮಾನ ಹಾಗೂ ನಾವು ನಂಬಿದ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳಿಂದ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಭಾವಿತರಾಗುವ ಅವಧಿ ಇದಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಚೈತನ್ಯದ ಅಗಾಧತೆಯನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಮನಗಂಡಿದ್ದರಿಂದಲೇ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಯುವ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯೇ ನನ್ನ ಆಶಾ ಕಿರಣ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೈ ಫೇತ್ ಇನ್ ಯಂಗರ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್, ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್, ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಮೈ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ದ ಹೋಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಲಯನ್ಸ್. ಸಿಂಹ ಸದೃಶರಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಯುವಕರು ಈ ದೇಶದ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಯನ್ನ ಪರಿಹರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರಿಗೆ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಯುವಕರೆಲ್ಲ ತಮ್ಮ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ವಿನಿಯೋಗಿಸಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ಕಂಚಿನ ಕಂಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆ ನೀಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರ ಅನೇಕ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯುತ ಬರವಣಿಗೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 3Hಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗಮನ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಿಸಲು ಯುವಕರಿಗೆ ನೀಡಿದ ಕರೆ ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಾಲು ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, 78% ಅಷ್ಟು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಯುವಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂತಹ ಯುವಕರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಬಂದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಅವರು ಸಿಂಹ ಸದೃಶವಾಗಿ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ಪರಿಹರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಅವ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರ ನಂಬಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಇಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂತೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು 3H ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾವನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ 3H ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ. ಅವರು ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪಿಸುವ ಮೊದಲನೇ H ಎಂದರೆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಮಿಡಿಯುವ ಹೃದಯ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರೂ ಬಡವರಿಗಾಗಿ, ಅವಕಾಶ ವಂಚಿತರಾಗಿ ಮಿಡಿಯಬೇಕು ಎಂಬುದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರ ಆಶಯ. ನಾವು ಅಂತವರಿಗಾಗಿ ತಲೆಯೆಲ್ಲ ದಿಮ್ಮೆನ್ನುವವರಿಗೆ, ತಲೆ ಸುತ್ತು ಬರುವವರೆಗೆ ಹೃದಯವೇ ಸ್ತಬ್ಧವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆಯೇನೋ ಎಂಬ ಭಾವನೆ ಮೂಡುವಷ್ಟು ಮಿಡಿಯಬೇಕಂತೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಯಾವ ಸ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಡಿಯಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಅದು ಮೊದಲನೇ H. ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಏನು ಮೊದಲನೇದು? ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್. ಎರಡನೇ H ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಗ್ರಹಿಕೆಯ ಹಂತವನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ಎರಡನೇ H ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಡ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಚಿಂತಿಸುವ ಮೆದುಳು ಎಂದು ಪ್ರತಿಪಾದಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಮುಂದಿರುವ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತದ ಸಂಕೀರ್ಣ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ, ಆರ್ಥಿಕ, ಮೂಲಸೌಕರ್ಯದ, ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಹಾಗೂ ಬಡತನ ಸಂಬಂಧಿ ಬಿಕ್ಕಟ್ಟುಗಳಿಗೆ ಪರಿಹಾರವನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವುದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸವಾಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇದರ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ನಾವು ಆಲೋಚಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಮೊದಲನೇದು ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಎರಡನೇದು ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡುದಲ್ಲ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಪಾಪ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೀಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಬಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ನಾನು ಬಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಒಂದ್ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದ್ ಅಜ್ಜ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೈಲಾಗದೇ ಇರೋರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂಗವಿಕಲರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸಾಧಾರಣವಾಗಿ? ನಾವು ವಿಂಡೋ ಸೀಟನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಸೀಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತಯಾರಿರ್ತೀವಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನನ್ಗೆ. ಆಯ್ತು ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೃದಯ ಮಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಪಾಪ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ನಾವು ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನನ್ನ ಮೆದುಳಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅದು? ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಡ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೆದುಳು, ಚಿಂತಿಸುವ ಮೆದುಳು ನಮ್ದಾಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಕೇವಲ ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಮುಂದೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ಮೂರನೆಯದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರು ಮಂಡಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ಮೂರನೆಯ H ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದದು? ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶಿತ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಸಾಕಾರಗೊಳಿಸಬಲ್ಲ ಕೈಗಳು. ನಮ್ಮೊಳಗಿನ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕಾರ್ಯತಂತ್ರವಾಗಿ ಮಾರ್ಪಡಿಸುವ, ಅಂತಿಮವಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಾಗಿ ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಇಳಿಸಲು ಅಗತ್ಯವಾದ ಶಿಸ್ತು ಹಾಗೂ ಇಚ್ಛಾಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಯುವಜನತೆ ಮೂಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ಆಶಯ ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನನ್ನ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಯುವ ಜನತೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ. ಯುವ ಜನತೆ ಈ ದೇಶದ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಯನ್ನ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂತಹ ಯುವ ಜನತೆಗೆ 3H ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾವನ್ನ ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಏನದು? ಮೊದಲನೇದು ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್, ಎರಡನೇದು ಹೆಡ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್, ಮೂರನೇದು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್. ನಿಮ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಈ ಬೋನಸ್ ಅವಧಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, PUC ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಇತ್ತೀಚಿನ ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ PUC ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಡಿಗ್ರಿಗೆ ಬಂದಂತವ್ರು ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರುಗಳು ನೆನಪಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಬಾಬರ್ ಅಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬರ ಒಂದು ಪಾಠ ಇತ್ತು, ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಯಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ BBC ಗುರುತಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಾಬರ್ ಅಲಿಯ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ತಾವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬಾಬರ್ ಅಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಓರ್ವ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ. ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸುಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲ, ಮನೆಯ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಾಲ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಇಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಮನಗಂಡಂತ ಬಾಬರ್ ಅಲಿ ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಒಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿ ತಾನೇ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕನಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಯಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್, ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಕಿರಿಯ ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವನೊಂದು ಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. BBC ಅದನ್ನ ಗುರುತಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ನಂತರ ಅವನು ಜಗತ್ವಿಖ್ಯಾತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕಾದ ಅಂಶ, ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಯುವಕರ ಮೇಲೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಬರ್ ಅಲಿ ಅಂತವರ ಮೇಲೆ, ಮೊದಲನೇದು. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಬಾಬರ್ ಅಲಿ ಕೇವಲ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್, ಮೊದಲನೇ ಹೆಚ್ಚೇನು ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್. ಆತ ತನ್ನ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ನನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರದರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದು ಕೆಲ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಓದ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎರಡನೇ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೆಡ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕೇವಲ ಭಾವಿಸೋದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಚಿಂತಿಸುವ ಮೆದುಳಾಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನೇ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶಾಲೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮೂರನೇದು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್, ಅದು ಕಾರ್ಯಪ್ರವೃತ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಳಿತಾರೆ. ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಯಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೊರಹೊಮ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಪಾಠ ಇವತ್ತು PUCಯ ಪಠ್ಯ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಬಾಬರ್ ಅಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಅಥವಾ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು, ನಮ್ಮ ತರಗತಿಯಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು, ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಯನ್ನ ನಾನು ಮೊದಲು ಭಾವಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಭಾವಿಸಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದ್ರ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಪರಿಹಾರವನ್ನ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಈ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಕಾರ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ತೊಡಗಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರ ಕರೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರು ಕಡೆಯದಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ, ಬಿ ಗುಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೂ ಗುಡ್, ಉತ್ತಮನಾಗು ಉಪಕಾರಿಯಾಗು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಈ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರ ಯುವಕರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಕರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣಸಖಾನಂದಜಿ ಬಹಳ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೇನೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಾಲು ಅವರ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ತಿಳಿಸಿದ ಹಾಗೆ, ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್, ಹೆಡ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್, ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್. ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಲ್, ಹೆಡ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್, ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡದ್ದೇ ಆದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿಯು ಅಥವಾ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣವಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣದಲ್ಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಿಂಚಿತ್ತು ಯೋಗದಾನವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನುವ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ದಿನದ ವಿವೇಕವಾಣಿ 23ನೇಯ ಅವಧಿಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪರಿಸಮಾಪ್ತಿಗೊಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ತಿಂಗಳು 12ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು, ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ 12ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ನಾವು 24ನೇ ವಿವೇಕವಾಣಿಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ 25ನೇ ವಿವೇಕವಾಣಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ವಿವೇಕವಾಣಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ನಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಿ, ಅಂತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ತಾವಿರಿ. ವಿವೇಕವಾಣಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳ ಒಂದು ವರದಿಯನ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ತಾವು ಸಂಪರ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದು ಅದರ ಲಾಭವನ್ನ ಪಡಿಬಹುದು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರ ಸಂದೇಶವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಸಾರ ಮಾಡಲು ಮತ್ತು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನ ತರಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೊತ್ತು ತಾವು ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರಿ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮನ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.